Hello, it is day 26 of POEMVEMBER 2022, where we're writing one poem a day in this month because we felt a little jealous that the prose writers get NaNoWriMo. So I've been posting every day at least 3 prompts based off of a poem by a poet I personally find inspiring as a way to jolt us into creativity. Maybe one of these poems prompts in you something that I'm not writing as a prompt. Please go with that energy. If that's happening, like ride that take your inner tube down that river. Is that a way to put that? So today's poet inspirer is Jane Creighton. We'll be reading her poem, Where There Is No Else, Panna Maria and Czestochowa, from her book, Bone Skid, Bone Beauty. I really encourage everyone to get this book. It's from St. Julian Press. It was really hard to find one poem or pick one poem, truly. Okay. And I probably chose this one because it uses the word Czestochowa, which has a personal connection to me. Where there is no else, Panna Maria and Czestochowa. Maybe 200 miles inland of hot road, spinning by cotton fields, bony cattle, barren land spitting up dust. 2 immaculate churches of Polish origin rise up out of the prairie, amid rumbling trucks hauling cotton bales, amid turkey buzzards, shuttered houses paling in the sun. You can't say you know what's going on. You're simply taking an outing away from your month at the coast. You wouldn't say. You will understand what it means to build a church that echoes the triumphs and travails of centuries of life in southern Poland, out here in the great crisscross of Southwest conquest and migration, Texas. You wonder how these Poles manage the difference between Russian onslaughts, the promise of spring and mesquite, rattlesnakes, precious little water. Where is home when one needs it? Where is the whistle in the distance calling you back? Pulling faith. This is the great beyond. The pick up your bed and walk. The road if you don't survive. Someone else does. I chose this poem from Jane Creighton's collection because it made me think of Audre Lorde's essay, Poetry is Not a Luxury, which I highly encourage all poets, all writers to read, where Audre Lorde says that poetry is a form of revelatory distillation of experience. So when anyone asks you, what is poetry? What is poetry? I think that is one of like the most, it's the clearest way for me to understand what poetry is, a revelatory distillation of experience. So all the poems today, based off of Jane Creighton's Where There Is No Else, will be based around this idea of distilling an experience, distilling a revelatory experience. So I'd like you to take this poem as a revelatory distillation of a moment in the speaker's life. Panna Maria is a Polish ghost town in Texas. So keep that in mind, that the speaker is talking about 2 immaculate churches of Polish origin in a ghost town that was set up by Polish people. There's an understanding that all of these people were in exile, or they had to pick up everything and leave. So there's this palpable mood or tone of exile in Creighton's poem that I think that we should think about, connect with, reread. So the prompt is to think about how the speaker connects what they're seeing, the 2 churches in the ghost town, and connects this to what they know about what it meant to pick up their lives and flee to Texas. I think it's especially interesting that the town is a ghost town now. So prompt number 1 is to locate a building or a large physical object that sticks out as strange or foreign or immaculate or incongruent to an environment that you visited. It's important that this distillation of an experience includes you as visitor, not as someone who knows this area or space intimately. Prompt number 2 is to distill the experience of when you had to leave. This could be with or without your desire to do so. Prompt number 3 is distill the experience, capture it in a small bottle, place the experience of being promised something that did not shake out in your benefit. Imagine that this distillation of your experience is being put into a small bottle of oil so that it is preserved long enough for the people who need this message in a few hundred years, maybe a few decades, can see that message as a reminder or a mirror to their experience. And those are the prompts today. So there's more information about Jane Creighton's work and influence in the description below, as well as the last few people that I'll be using as poet inspirers for the rest of this month. We only have a few days left, 4 days left. And some information about what the labyrinth is. So I'm KP Kajabowski. I'm a poet, filmmaker, and theater maker, and also the guide of the Labyrinth, which is a growing resource library for writers. It is my intention to offer insights, maybe examples and prompts that are often left in private spaces or in private communities. And I'd like to share that in a more open, democratic way where anyone can come upon them and use them as inspiration for their own writing and practice of coming back to oneself through the act of writing. Okay, so have fun.